think people tend to focus on anti-bullying campaigns in high school and middle school and forget about the elementary aspect. But elementary is where it usually begins, the bullying, and where it can lead to increasing in middle school and high school. So if we're using these anti-bullying campaigns at the elementary level, we can prevent it from gradually growing throughout the middle school and high school years. Most elementary schools focus on the basic treat others how you want to be treated, but they don't go into actual what bullying is and what you can do to help prevent it. Either that is by bystander or by learning how to control yourself if you are one of those aggressive people. I want to go into kind of why children choose to bully one another. One of the major findings are that children who lack social skills tend to be more aggressive, under-controlled, and possibly psychologically troubled. But also people with great social skills also bully, but it's a different kind of bullying. So they use it to overpower other kids and through manipulation and target certain people because they believe it helps them build power. There are two different individual factors that associate with bullying. The first one being aggression, and there are two different types of aggression, one being physical aggression, the other being relational. And physical aggression is when you hurt someone physically, and relational aggression is when you hurt someone's social standings, and that may be accomplished by spreading rumors or gossiping. And both of these types of aggression can be very physically and emotionally damaging to a child. Another individual factor is moral disengagement. So moral disengagement is when someone is cruel to another human being in ways that are manipulative, untrustworthy, and mean, but this is associated with zero guilt. The line of right and wrong is usually blurred and forgotten. Bandura's moral disengagement mechanisms talk about 4 different categories: cognitive restructuring, minimizing one's agendic role, disregarding/distorting the negative impact of harmful behavior, and blaming or dehumanizing the victim. These categories are used to justify the means of bullying, and overall, children who bully are children who intimidate and cause distress to peers, are likely to generate conflict with peers, be rejective, have strained relationships, and become marginalized within the peer group. And the rates of bullying are high and very concerning, as evidence suggests that bullying increases the risks of academic, behavior, and psychosocial problems, and decrease the quality of life for students involved. So schools have been seeing bullying as an issue, and administrators have started to create these anti-bullying campaigns, though not everyone has been successful. In a study done, 60% of primary age school children have identified as having been a victim of bullying. And as you can see in this graph, there are about 17% of second graders being bullied, and we can see that's the highest among all the other grades as it continues to decrease, but it's the highest in second grade and in the elementary years. These programs are put in place to help decrease those numbers, and especially having them lower in the second grade level. So one of the first strategies used is bullying interventions. So this is the most current program right now, though it hasn't been showing many successful changes, more of a short-term, small effect sizes rather than the long-term effect. This program needs a lot of time for it to be successful, and most of these programs are put in place during the school day, which is cutting it into teacher time. It is important to do it during the school day, though, because it relates the students to the academic learning as well as their social emotional skills. And this strategy focuses on what not to do and how to correctly solve the problem. Teachers can use reading material, though, that can relate to bullying, such as reading a book, which continues into the next strategy. The next strategy is using literature to help with the bullying, and they created a program called the Bullying Literature Project. This project is 5 sessions long with about 35 to 45 minutes each, which uses literature to have a classroom intervention on bullying. This program brings awareness to what bullying is and shows to problem solve and help encourage positive bystanders. Previous research has shown that this program leads to increased pro-social behavior and social-emotional asserts, as well as prevents the increase in pro-bullying attitudes among intervention groups when compared to control groups. This program strives to decrease moral disengagement. So it focuses on the Bandura moral disengagement mechanisms, and they're discussed at every stage. And someone would read a book or a story to the class, and the whole class would engage in a discussion, writing activities, and role play. The discussion and activities would go over moral disengagement and show how bullying can't be justified in any way. There is a line of right and wrong, and bullying is always wrong. And it's important to look at those different situations, especially those the students may feel it is okay to act a certain way. In addition to moral disengagement, emotional regulation and problem-solving strategies, including walking away, talking it out, seeking help from an adult, a teacher, administrator, breathing, and using humor to get yourself out of the situation, and that is taught through this program. More research is being done about these programs to see which works best, but the literature project is definitely the one that relates better to students. And so these studies have shown the programs have decreased the rates of bullying, but the question is if they are having the long-term effects. Implementing these programs into the classroom can be so important because it engages everyone and can teach them, the lifelong lessons about what bullying is. And it can be beneficial if used during language arts, so the teacher is able to continue the lesson with reading while also targeting the subject bullying. The correlation between bullying and moral disengagement in elementary schools are high, because at that age it is harder to see that line of right and wrong. It's usually blurred in front of their eyes, and they try to justify it any way possible. And so these programs can make a big impact if they continue to target elementary schools and focus on that moral engagement. Starting at that young age will really help in building and preventing it from going further and further into their years.